Welcome to another one-on-one sports webcast. I'm Casey Stark, and I'm joined by Sean Dolan and Steve Roth, who are here to discuss the Super Bowl 44. Guys, what did you think of the Saints' first ever Super Bowl victory?
Very excited. I was overly excited about it. I was rooting for the Saints. I've been on their bandwagon since the beginning of not only the playoffs this year, but a few seasons ago when they did beat the Eagles in the playoffs. But I thought it was an incredible game. I really did. Drew Brees and the rest of their team came out and did an excellent job. You seem to be disagreeing. What would you like to say?
Oh, no. I'm very impressed with the Saints. I just don't know why you had to mention them beating the Eagles.
I'm sorry.
That was so unnecessary.
For both of our sakes, I apologize.
No, I was so
they beat
impressed.
several teams, though, so don't take it too personally.
That is true. I was so impressed with Drew Brees. He was able to handle everything that the Colts threw at him. He essentially played like Peyton Manning should have played. When the Saints played soft coverages, he was able to find the receiver underneath. They didn't really let him go deep, but he was patient and he found a receiver underneath, and he let Reggie Bush and Marquise Colston get the yards after the catch. It was great quarterbacking.
I think another two players that sort of one player that stepped up during this game that not a lot of people will talk about because the final score was not like very, very close, although it seemed like it would be going into the fourth quarter, was the kicker, Garrett Hartley from the Saints. He kicked 3 40-plus yard field goals, and that is an amazing thing to do in the playoffs. We just saw, the last few weeks of a lot of teams that are just missing field goals, and it's affecting the game. And then Indianapolis's kicker, he missed one, but it turned out not to be as crucial, although, so
you never know.
It always, you see the spotlight on the quarterbacks for this game, but I certainly think the kickers were, they added to it. Garrett Hartley did a very good job.
Yeah, all props to Garrett Hartley. He's the only kicker in Super Bowl history to make 3 field goals of plus 40 yards. That is really good, especially for a kicker that young. And as for Matt Stover's miss, if you look at the final score, it doesn't seem like it would have been that critical, but you never know. I mean, then the momentum swings, and Colts put more points on the board, and the Saints start with different field position. You never know. But it was a big miss. I want to know why Adam Vinatieri was not kicking for that team, and why Matt Stover was. Stover's a great kicker, but if it's the playoffs and it's the Super Bowl, I want Vinatieri kicking for me, not
I don't
Stover.
want to see Vinatieri win anymore or be at a Super Bowl anymore, so I'm fine with that. But as far as the quarterbacks, I think that they definitely they obviously in every Super Bowl or every game they get the most spotlight, but they deserved it, I think, this time.
Definitely. Speaking of quarterbacks, Manning was the oldest quarterback in Super Bowl history, but Brees this year beat out the top 5 NFL quarterbacks. So who would you say had the best performance in the Super Bowl this year?
You got to give it to Drew Brees. I mean, he's the game MVP. He carried that team to victory. He carried that whole city to victory. I mean,
so true.
That MVP was well-deserved. I couldn't disagree with it more. I mean, but you look at Manning's stats, except for that one interception, he had a pretty good game too. I mean, it was an untimely interception, and it cost him the entire game, but Manning didn't play all that terribly either. So, I mean, I can't put him down too much.
I can disagree and agree with you in that, Drew Brees, I would say, is definitely, obviously being the winner of the game, did his job. But Peyton Manning, although in years past he's had guys like Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, this year he had 5 different players that had over 40 yards receiving. Reggie Wayne was 5th most on his team. Dallas Clark, everybody, Austin Collie, they had plenty of players. So Peyton Manning no longer has to rely on just 1 or 2 receivers. He has plenty of guys to throw to, and he did a great job considering that. But Drew Brees, he certainly throws to guys, a 7th round Marquise Colston, guys like that are not that well known. Jeremy Shockey, I'm sorry to mention another guy that we don't like, but guys like that he's throwing to. So I definitely think that both quarterbacks had their goods and their bads, but it's definitely good to see New Orleans win.
It's interesting that you bring up Reggie Wayne because he's number 1 on their depth chart, and he was shut down the entire game. And then when he has an opportunity to get his team back into the game, there was less than a minute left. It may not have mattered. But you get paid millions of dollars every season to make that catch, and it literally went right through his hands. It wasn't Manning's fault. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was blown away by Reggie Wayne's miss at the end of the game.
Now, as far as overall, what we'll think of these quarterbacks when they're done, I still think that Drew Brees has a few more years left in him than Peyton would at this point in his career. But I think both are just unbelievable.
Absolutely. And Brees now tied for the Super Bowl record with 32 completions. So overall, it was absolutely a great game. But Great game, but what did you guys think about the commercials this year? I wasn't as impressed,
There
but
were
what
some
do you
fun
guys
commercials.
think?
My favorite was the Doritos one where the kid slapped the guy because he was looking at his mom the wrong way.
That was a good
that was
one.
very
I agree
funny
with
to me,
that.
the Doritos. That was because you usually expect Budweiser to be the top commercial,
True.
or at least, some of them. So I thought the Doritos one was very funny.
You know what? I'm going to look, I did enjoy that one very much. I'm going to look at the number of commercials that a company put in and how good that, fewer commercials did.
Okay.
Motorola commercial with Megan Fox in the bathtub. That was fantastic. I love that one. Motorola did not have that many commercials in the Super Bowl, but the few that won, they shot and they scored with that one. They appealed to the demographic that mostly watch the Super Bowl, males. And they just
Among
made
any
it work.
age
Good marketing.
group.
Among
I
any
do
age
have
group.
to agree with you on
That
that
was
one.
fantastic.
Do have to agree. Personally, I like the Google commercial, but overall, I was a little disappointed. But
That was a good
great
quality
game,
commercial.
Though. Great game, though. But thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to check out our other webcasts if you haven't already, including one where Michael Gayton, Rich Ryan, and Alex Rosenbaum talk to BCS. Thanks for watching. Whose side are you on?